7, aka Diz, and this is the Force always.
Okay, here it is. Let's keep rocking with the Star Wars news, views, reviews, and interviews. Yes, so this week has been the return of Rebels, the animation, the second part of the final season 4 of Rebels animation. So that's the big news for this week, and a review on the 2 episodes that has aired already, but later on the show. John Boyega is coming to Australia. He will be appearing on a show here called Sunrise. It's a morning news show called Sunrise, Tuesday the 27th. He's here really for the Pacific Rim movie that's coming out starring him. I'm sure he's going to be inundated with some Star Wars The Last Jedi questions. The Divide, maybe, I don't know. It's a pretty sort of laid-back show. I wouldn't say it's intense, so when they're not hardcore Star Wars fans on this particular show, but you never know. Tuesday the 27th of this month, John Boyega will be on Sunrise. That's Channel 7, just in case you didn't know. To more news, the trailer for the digital DVD and Blu-ray and 4K Ultra, whatever that is, has been uploaded to StarWars.com. So the digital release of The Last Jedi is March 13, and the Blu-ray DVD is March 27. If that date is exactly the date in your neck of the woods, as Al Roker would say, or your part of the world, technically I'm unsure, but that is the release date according to StarWars.com. That is March 27 for the Blu-ray and DVD, and March 13 for the digital release. 4K release has a release date as well, but who's got one of those? Unsure. But anyway, to more news, there are books and comics coming out for Solo, a Star Wars story. That's right. If you want some information about what's going on, when, how, whatever around this particular story, the particular movie comes out May 25 this year. It's only a couple of months away now. Solo, a Star Wars story. There are books and comics coming out surrounding the story to give a bit of information, bit of insight of what's going on. So they are coming soon. To more news, Feb 20 was the release date for Force of Sound, streaming on the ABC YouTube, I'd say, network. Check that out. Force of Sound, it goes behind the scenes of the special effects in sound and music, I'd say, with the Force of Sound. It's called For the Last Jedi, that is, The Last Jedi, streaming on ABC. That's ABC America. Yeah, so, and again, this was the release of Rebels, the finale for Season 4. That's right, it's ending, as we know, in about 3 weeks' time from now. It's going to be all over. We're going to find out what's going on. But anyway, thanks to Sean again. Sean, Sources of Forces, with some news items here. He is a great undercover man. Sean, Sources of Forces, news items. Anyway, thanks a lot, Sean. Let's get into views. Views this time around is all about my story ideas, and it's not about predictions, but it's this time around who should die in Rebels Season 4. As the second half of the finale season is underway, who should die? Well, so far we've seen Kanan. I think all the crew members have to go. They have to go. It'd be sort of great to sort of have one of these guys maybe, locked in carbonite or something like this. I just don't think there's enough sort of to this particular show to really have intrigue for the future. Kanan was sort of one, Ezra's sort of another, but it's just they're not strong enough for me to say let's have a tie-in. I'm one to say let's have tie-ins. I'm begging for tie-ins with Star Wars. They're lacking tie-ins, especially with The Last Jedi. Lack of tie-ins. Too much killing in The Last Jedi. Lack of tie-ins. Yes, there is some tie-ins, but very minute type stuff. But let's get back to the point. Who should die in Rebels? They should all die. Obviously, besides Hera and Chopper, as they were heard and sort of seen in the Rogue One movies. So, besides those ones, and they have got to go. Unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of death and destruction within the Rebels animation, especially on Disney XD. But it's the fact of life, and we need to see them go, as they're sort of not really seen or heard in the episodes or the continuing story of Star Wars. They may, if possibly, seen in episode 9, but that's just too much of a stretch. Yep. So I think they should all go. That's my story idea. It's just a pretty basic idea this week, but I think the characters are good, not great. I think Kanan was probably a bit better than good, probably very good. Ezra was, a bit of ups and downs. There's no real solid direction. But out of the show, it was enjoyable so far. But I think, so they should all go. Besides Hera and Chopper, obviously, because they have been seen in Rogue One and they need to be alive. So that's my views this time around. Let's get into reviews. Reviews is of the Rebels animation. It just dropped in the last 48 hours. The 2 episodes, Jedi Knight, spelled N-I-G-H-T, and Doom. It's the 2 first episodes. They were back to back. Rebels Jedi Knight episode intro was a revealing episode, especially towards the end. We all got to see, and there's a spoiler coming up. If you haven't seen it, spoiler. At the end of the episode, Kanan met his, end. It was sort of a really good episode. I thought it was one of those episodes that would be long remembered in the animation series. There's just a few of these ones that just get strongly remembered. Rebels have really not come up with a lot of rememberable episodes, sort of fun fact type episodes, and sort of dealt with a serious manner and sort of things like that. So Jedi Knight, really, I'd say, look, I'm going to give this a 9.5 out of 10. It was that enjoyable. It was really good, very dark, not very kid-friendly, but it's still very good. Especially the emotional, sort of poetic end to Kanan. He'll be long remembered. He was a great character, as I said, very good. And now we're sort of at a loss. So, the other episode was Doom, that was followed after Jedi Knight. Doom, spelled D-U-M-E, and it's the surname of Kanan. Sort of maybe symbolizing Doom, which is D-O-O-M. Maybe there's something, a tie-in with that, I don't know. But it was sort of it was an okay episode. Like, it sort of had to be one of those episodes where the devastation, loss of Kanan from the episode before had to be felt, so it didn't really move with a rapid pace. The pacing was a bit slow. It had to be sort of like that. I think they could have done a bit more, especially towards the end. Probably the only interesting outcome to these 2 episodes is that Governor Price, I think it's Governor Price, is going to be dealt with some sort of harsh blow from the Blue Man. Let's call him the Blue Man. His name has escaped me right now, but Governor Price, she was leading the attack on the rebels in this first episode, Jedi Knight. So the Blue Man, I've forgotten his name, Thrawn, that's it, Thrawn. Thrawn is going to give her some harsh punishment. I don't know if it's going to be Disney XD sort of feeling, but we can only wait to see what that's going to be about. But Doom, look, I'm going to give this a 6.5 out of 10. It was not really a overly interesting episode. It just had to be there in a sort of slow, sort of sad feel because of the episode before. They could have done something more with it, but it was just sort of pretty straightforward. So 6.5 out of 10 for Doom, 9.5 out of 10 for Jedi Knight. That's the first 2 episodes of the second half of Season 4 Rebels animation. Continues next week and the week after, and I think there's 1 week after that. But it's going to be done in 3 weeks' time. Can you believe it? Anyway, so that's the reviews for this time around. So let's get into interviews. Interviews is 2Q, that's 2Q, that's 2 questions. The all famous 2 questions were asked myself for you guys out there. Anyway, first question. How good is the Rebels animation? I'm going to say it's okay. It's more of a, interesting story, information type series for me. A lot of fans, hardcore Star Wars fans, are really loving it. I'm thinking it's okay. I sort of enjoy it to an extent, but there's just too many episodes that are just not overly interesting. There's been a couple, when Ahsoka met up with Darth Vader. The last one with Kanan passing away at the end. Well, not the last one, the one before that. And maybe the intro, the very first episode of Rebels, I thought that was good. There's been a couple of others, but it doesn't reach my memory straight away. But that's the whole idea. It's not that memorable. It's good, but it's okay. I wouldn't think it's overly Disney. It is definitely have a Disney feel to it, but I just think, to my next question, how good is Clone Wars? I just think that Clone Wars is actually better than Rebels. A lot of people out there, hardcore Star Wars fans, will disagree. It's a very big divide to like Rebels over Clone Wars, or Clone Wars over Rebels, or even liking them at all from a hardcore Star Wars fan. But I think Clone Wars so far, especially season 5 and 6, they were great. Unfortunately, the whole series ended a bit too early. There was a lot of lame sort of story ideas, a lot of lame sort of images, but it comes with Star Wars. This is the thing that you've got to really accept. You can't have the story exactly how you want it said to you. So you've just got to sort of accept the story at hand, and that's what I do. That's why I'm a hardcore Star Wars fan, Force Always. Is I accept the story for what it is. I wish there's certain different story ideas in either the movies or animation or anything, but I accept the story, and I like the story for what it is. I just think Clone Wars, the question is, how good is Clone Wars? I think it was very good, especially seasons 5 and 6. Rebels has had, spots of good episodes, but not many. Just okay. So Rebels was good. Clone Wars was very good. But still, both of them had lame aspects to it, in story, in visuals, in sound. But I still, I'll still watch them. Being a hardcore Star Wars fan. Anyway, so that's the show this time around. Please like, share, repeat the video if you like, to understand what's going on here. Subscribe to the channel, The Force Always, only on YouTube. And until next time, as I say, keep rocking.